Good morning, Tony Dottino. My goodness, I cannot believe how fast the month of March is going on us. It just seems to be going faster than we can keep track of it. But we are already into almost the middle of March, and the Ides of March are coming. And I'm trying to get my face back here. I don't know how I shrunk it, but in any case, I wanted to talk about the importance of social activities and social lives. It's something I've talked about a number of times, and I just continue to see articles on it. And here in the March, April issue of Psychology Today, the friend effect, having friends. What was interesting about it is how people define the word friend. And friend, is it someone that you can be that you can trust and have confidence in, where you can confide in them with some of the challenges or problems or things that worry or cause you a bit of stress? Maybe you're looking for some guidance and some help, versus somebody that you say good morning to, good afternoon, somebody, a friend at work that is associated with. Maybe it's somebody you go to a sporting event or a social event with, but who do you really stop and sit down with, have a cup of coffee, and feel that you can confide in? Would be their most primary definition of a friend. Somebody that when the world seems to be on your shoulders, you can pick up the phone and say, hey, can we get together for a half an hour or a few minutes, or can I talk to you on the phone for a bit, or do a Zoom? And they talk about this in the article, which I think is really important, because the most that they would recommend that one would do in terms of having the closest of friends would be 5 at maximum. I think most people, if you had 2 or 3, you were doing pretty darn well. Now, we're talking about people where you can sit down and say, there's some things bothering me, and they would, by the way, they would share with you as well. They would, if there was something troubling them in their life, they would feel comfortable and confident enough with you that they would be willing to take the time to let you in on something that was giving them some stress and some grief and the weight of the world on their shoulders. So how you get to this tightness to where you can trust somebody and then never have them or you violate that trust. Because one thing I've learned in my life and in the research I've done on the psychology of the human mind is you never, ever violate a person's trust. So if they share something with you in confidence, and they're giving it to you from the bottom of their heart, you do not want to be putting that out on a Facebook, or you want to be putting that out on a Instagram somewhere. It is between you and they, and it stays that way. And if there's one thing I've learned in my life and the work I've done, is never ever violate a person's trust that they're giving to you, and they're sharing something with you. You don't mess with that, because once you have violated a person's trust, the psychology and the neuroscience will tell you that creates a mark of memory in the brain that says, I've trusted you once and never again. And so if you truly have a respect and a care for the person that you're confiding with, or they in terms of confiding in you, you never want to violate that level of trust, because once it's broken in the brain, in the chemistry of the brain, forever. And how you overlay that. Dr. Joseph Ledoux out of NYU has done research on that. It takes you multiple overlays if you can even risk or take the chance of trying to do that. It takes multiple overlays to ever even try to flatten that scar. And then if that's ever violated a second time, that's it, done. So we read this article here to you today. Close relationships are tough to maintain if you have a very close person in that regard. But then you can also have other circles of enlightenment. There are people that you may go to church with, people that you may have department meetings with at work. There are people that you can consider your work friends, some of your personal friends, some of your social activity, maybe a community service thing, maybe it's a golf league, maybe it's a community service center that you might consider to be friends. These are people that you see from time to time, and you can say, yeah, I've got those as friends. So it's always important to me when I talk with people at any age, with children, right? One of the things that happened during the COVID, kids lost their friends that they would go out and play with, and boy, teenage suicides became a problem for teenagers that felt that they lost their friends and their social interactions. So there's plenty of research that's done on the importance of social interactions. And here comes this article, Psychology Today, that talks about the friend effect. Here we go, the friend effect, March, April issue, why social life matters. And I thought they did a really great job of encapsulating that. It is important, as it is, to manage difficult emotions is just the start of how a quality relationship or friendship influences well-being and longevity. Let me try that one again a little bit better. How do you manage emotions is just the beginning of a quality friendship and the influence of a well-being, of your well-being and theirs, and longevity. Higher social life is the stepping stone to maximizing fitness. A higher social life is a stepping stone to higher life expectancy. And there's more and more research that's coming out on this. So I'm going to just read you some of these. I've got a whole list of what are some of the things that you can do in your social life. Having friends, it slows the cellular aging by reducing inflammation. Wow, having friends, it slows the cellular chemistry within the body that helps reduce inflammation. So any of you that have gone to test your C-reactive protein and you get a high inflammation marker in your blood test results, step back and say, well, do you have some friends? What are you doing to reduce some of the stress in your life? What are you doing to try to take some of the anxieties that you have? And maybe you sharing them with someone that you can trust. See if you can bring that inflammation down. What are maybe some of the foods, even some of the nutritional habits you have? Are you getting out and doing a walk or doing some physical movement and or exercise? Friends buffer stress. They actually help to lower your cortisol levels. And what we know about cortisol is that rush you get in a fight or flight. And what we do know today is that the extension of that fight or flight and the raising of cortisol to where it sustains itself is not a healthy process. In fact, cortisol to some level is a good thing, but to an excess, it turns out to be almost like a toxin and a poison. So you really want to be careful about what you're doing with your cortisol levels, and friends help to relieve. You've gone out and talked with somebody. Now, when I get sometimes I stress, I go out and take a walk or I go out and run. And now I can start swimming again. The pool is one where I go swim for a little bit. But finding an activity to reduce your cortisol levels is important. Throughout your lifespan, friends reduce your risk of loneliness, depression, and anxiety. Wow. What I've talked over the last several months about loneliness and isolation. Though they are a bit different, the importance of, through your lifespan, having friends, it reduces your risk of being lonely, certainly isolation, but your depression and anxiety. So again, having someone you can go have a cup of coffee with or someone you can take a walk with is beneficial to them, by the way, as well as to you. So it's always interesting to me that as you're talking to people that are your friends, it's always interesting for you to help them as well to make sure that they've got a few other people in their life that they can confide in and they can trust and have some level of confidence. Friends help to bolster your self-esteem. Research has found that if you feel like you've got friends and you're talking about, well, yeah, I've got friends, I've got somebody I can talk with, it helps you to build your own self-esteem that other people value you. Other people are willing to trust in you and are willing to confide in you, and they have enough of respect that you may be able to give them some solid guidance. And so some people, when I talk with some folks, certainly with my friends, I may ask the question once in a while, do you think I know what I'm talking about? Do you think I've got any basis for you to trust in what I'm saying to you? And I'm going beyond the friends of your family, because there's another, I've got kids and grandchildren and relationships within them. But I'm going outside of that realm, because you certainly want to have trust and confidence with your kids and your grandkids and things. But the important part to this is having people that you can confide in and they trust in you helps you to build and boost your own self-esteem. So these are just a few of the things I wanted to share with you this morning. I've got more on the list, and I'll pick those up again in my next broadcast, because I thought this was an excellent article, The Friend Effect. Surprising ways other people help you, and you can help them. Well, it's weekend time. I'm hoping we have some nice weather here. We're looking at possibly some snowstorms, I've heard from some of my northern friends, and some heavy rain. We're hoping to get rain here. We've had a drought area here for a while, so we're welcoming some rain, though we don't like it on weekends, but at this point we'll take it whenever it comes. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.